I was in a 7-year long relationship from 21 to 28, and it ended in 2019. And I want to sit here and say that it was something explosive, something so dramatic.
Friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for clicking. Kindly subscribe to this beautiful channel. So in today's video, we are going to talking about the TikTok trend that has been sparkling a lot of conversation. Women sharing the reasons why they ended their relationship. This trend has gone viral with countless women opening up about their experiences, and this has really shed light on why many relationships don't work out. So I've put the videos together so that you watch and learn. I'll be back to share my true sense, what I think about today's video.
I was in a 7-year long relationship from 21 to 28, and it ended in 2019. And I want to sit here and say that it was something explosive, something so dramatic that made us decide to end the relationship, but it wasn't. And I think that's the case for a lot of relationships long term. And that's a scary reality because you think, okay, well, if it's not devastating, how do you decide to leave a relationship like that? How can you be with someone for that long and then one day decide, well, you're not going to be my life anymore. I'm not going to be in your life anymore. And I get it. It's hard and it's confusing. So I wanted to share my story a little bit. I'm not going to give too many details away, but to give some perspective on why you might want to leave a long-term relationship, even though nothing specific is really wrong. Our values, our morals were all on the same page, but we wanted different lifestyles in a sense. There was the moving abroad aspect of it, where I went there with him and he had work there and he liked it there and I didn't quite like it. And so I came back to my hometown. And that obviously causes a rift in things. However, along with that, there were a few communication issues throughout the relationship. Again, because we were both very young when we started dating. So it's hard to know how to properly communicate as a young person in the way that you do know how to do it as an adult, right? So that kind of led to a bit of erosion within the relationship and our connection. But again, that isn't to say that the relationship was at all bad. It was great. It's just little things can kind of build up over time and cause you to question your presence in that relationship and question your identity and ask yourself, is this something that I want to continue, or do I need to take a step back and work on a few things before I feel comfortable, combining my life with somebody else? So if you're questioning that right now and you're in a long-term relationship and you don't know if you should leave or if you should stay because things are fine, there's nothing really wrong, I would say, first of all, deep down, you do know. You know what's right for you. But ask yourself, in the long run, is this more beneficial for me and for my partner, or is it going to harm us if we stay together? I think there's a sense of guilt or failure associated with leaving a relationship when there's nothing really wrong with it, because I think in our society, we're told that the ultimate goal should be to stay in a long-term relationship forever. And I don't think that's the goal of life. I think the goal of life is to experience as much as you can and grow as a person and meet new people that help you grow and you can help them grow. And that doesn't always mean it's the same person forever. And that's okay. There's no right or wrong in this kind of decision making. It's just what feels right for you.
Why did you leave a 6-year relationship?
I left a 6-year relationship because after 6 years, I was tired of asking, take me on a date. Let's go out. I look pretty. Let's do something. This guy worked the whole time we were together and it's fine. But like, I worked too.
When was the moment you knew your marriage was over? For me, there were lots of moments, things I didn't recognize until later. That should have been the moment. Here's the first one that should have been the moment now that I've been through all of this. We'd been married for about a year and a couple months. I was finishing up my degree to become a teacher. He was not going to school and he was not working. Should have been my first sign. And that we had just found out, I had taken a pregnancy test, that I was newly pregnant. We were excited, didn't know what was happening, like all the feelings. Well, 2 days later, I started bleeding and what ended up being a miscarriage. I ended up staying home from school that day. Just a lot of emotions. I remember crying a lot and not feeling great and bleeding a lot. And I remember not having the supplies I needed to handle a miscarriage. And I had asked my then husband if he would go to the store for me and go buy me some pads. And he looked at me and he was like, I can't do that. That makes me very uncomfortable. And I was like, what? We are adults. I am your wife. I just had a miscarriage and I'm asking for some help. Please? And he said no again. And he made a reference to a time back in high school when he promised himself and some friends that he would never be that guy to buy those things. And in that moment, I remember being like, huh? But it was a flash, right? I went and I put a hat on, I put a jacket on, and I left without saying anything to him. Eyes swollen from crying, not feeling great, to go buy the supplies I'd asked him for help with. That was the moment that should have been the moment. But I lasted 11 more years, 4 kids.
I broke up with my ex last year. We had been dating for 3 years. And after I broke up with him, I didn't reach out to him once, which for me, that was really hard. But this is what I did. Now, this is probably not a healthy way to get over a relationship. I don't know. I'm not a therapist, but it worked for me. So to each his own. I literally started a note on my phone. I always kept it locked, never showed it to anybody. But every single time he would say something like really shitty to me. I've talked about this before. He was very emotionally abusive. And it's not like little fights that we would have. It would be like things that would really, really just, they would fucking break me. He would say or he would do. I would put it in the notes. And I would also write down how I felt. And I also wrote down what I would want to say to him because I was so afraid of like speaking up and actually telling him what I thought. And I just kept that note. I kept adding onto it every single time. And again, this is not for small little fights like him not picking up his clothes or not washing the dishes. These were things that were like deal breakers, but I just wouldn't realize that I needed to walk away. Any single time that I felt like reaching out to this person after our breakup, I would go back in there and read the notes. Yes, I'm very grateful for all the good times that we had, but it was such a toxic, draining relationship that I needed to hear my own words of how I felt in that moment when he would hurt me. So if you are about to break up with somebody, or you already know that you need to get out of this relationship, just start a note. And there's nothing better than just going back and reading your own words, your own feelings, your own thoughts, and literally convincing yourself to finally walk away and not look back. And it has been the best thing I've ever done.
So that's the video, guys. So I'm just here to share my true sense, like what I think about today's video. First of all, let's talk about the raw honestly. What makes this trend so fascinating is how candid and relatable these stories are. Women are sharing everything from the small and anonymous that build up over time to the major red flags they could no longer ignore. It's not just about vetting, it's about reclaiming their voice and owing their decision to walk away. One of the recurring themes in this TikTok is emotional neglect. Many women talk about feeling unappreciated or unsupported in this relationship. It's not always about grand gestures, sometimes it's as simple as feeling like their partner wasn't really present or did not value their effort. Over time, this emotional disconnect can lead to a breaking point where staying no longer feels like an option. Another major factor we are seeing in this video is lack of communication. Relationships thrive on healthy communication, but when one partner shuts down or avoids addressing problems, it creates a lift. Many women describe how their attempt to discuss issues were met with demands or indifference, leaving them feeling unheard and misunderstood. Then there is the issue of mismatched priorities. A lot of women in this trend are opening up about how their goals and values didn't align with their partners. Maybe one person wanted to settle down while the other wasn't ready, or perhaps their lifestyle ambitions just didn't match. These differences might seem small at first, but over time they can create significant tension. Another powerful theme in this trend is self-worth. Many women are recognizing that they stayed in relationship where they were mistreated or undervalued. They are sharing how they finally realize they deserve better, better communication, better effort, and better love. This self awareness is inspiring and shows just how empowering it can be to walk away from a situation that doesn't serve you. Infidelity is another common reason shared on these TikToks. The pain of betrayal can be devastating, and for many women, it's a line they simply can't forgive or move past. What's striking is how many of these women talk about how cheating wasn't just about the act itself, but about the truth it shattered and the disrespect it represented. Toxic behavior is also a recurring topic in this trend. Women are sharing their experiences with manipulation, gaslighting, and controlling patterns. These stories highlight how toxic relationship can erode self-esteem and create an unhealthy dynamic that's impossible to sustain. One of the most interesting aspects of this trend is how women are reflecting on what they learned from this relationship. Many of these TikToks end with a sense of closure, empowerment, showing how ending the relationship was ultimately a step toward personal growth. They're not just telling us why they left, they're showing us how they grow stronger and more self aware about it. This trend is also sparkling important conversation about society expectation. For so long, women have been told to stick out or make it work, even when a relationship is clearly not working. This TikTok challenge that narrate by showing that living can be healthiest, most loving choice you can make for yourself. The trend is just about heartbreak, it's about healing. Women are coming together, share their stories in there. Doing so, they're creating a sense of community. It's like a collective reminder that you're not alone in your experiences, and that's okay to choose yourself. Of course, there's also the light-hearted side of the trend. Some of these TikTok highlight funny or petty reasons for ending relationships, like partners' weird habits or over the top obsession with video games. While these videos make us laugh, they also remind us that sometimes the little things can be deal breaker. Okay, this trend has stuck a chord because it's relatable and its core. It's about self-respect, boundaries, and the courage to walk away when something is not right. It's a reminder that a relationship should add value to your life, not drain it, and that's the living doesn't mean you failed. It means you choose to be a winner every time. So you guys, like, you have to choose clearly, okay? That's one thing you should know. So this trend shows us how people end the relationships, okay? So even me, I was in relationship where it didn't serve me, where there was a lot of lies. Someone just lied to you that they're not married, they don't have kids, which was a lie completely. Okay, you just found out everything when you go to their Facebook and check. You just found this lady posted, and they want to be that's a wife, and that's they have kids. So people cheat different ways, and people have incredibly like a lot of stories to share online here. Okay, so we have to, when you're looking for a partner, look for the correct one. You don't have to rush for nothing. Okay, choose wisely and think if this person is responsible and they can take care of you. Okay, because if you're going to choose someone who's not able, who's incapable, meaning you'll be suffering. So you have to be very wise and choose the right partner for your kids. This is really, really important. Okay. So I don't know what you think, guys, about my videos. I can leave the comment. Have you ever been left by someone before, or they break your heart? Let's share in the comment section, guys, how you feel about this moment, or maybe how did you feel in certain moments. Okay. So yeah, so that's a video for today. Thank you so much for clicking. Kindly follow this channel and subscribe, guys. Okay, bye bye, see you in the next episode.